White people, it's really crowded here. Black people, EADMITB. Oh, you already know.
Everybody, mom in this bitch.
White woman, OMG, he's so hot. Black woman, HFAF.
He's fine as fuck.
Yeah. White people, he's strange. Black people, TNW.
That nigga weird.
White people, I'm on my way. Black folks, BIFSOY.
Slide.
Here we go. White parents. White parents. If someone hits you, go tell the teacher. Black parents. ISHY, comma, YHTAB.
If someone hit you, you hit their ass back.
White folks, I misplaced my wallet. Black folks, SGMS.
SGMS. Damn, there's some good ones. White folk, I misplaced my wallet. SGMS.
Somebody got my shit.
Somebody got my shit.
White parents, you're not grown. Black parents, OSYGNH.
White parents, you're not grown. Black parents. Oh, so you grown now, huh?
Yeah.
White people, I do get it. No. The fatigue is real. The creepy part is I get it. And I shouldn't. I should be on the side of decency, but I'm like, oh no. Klansmen, skinheads, Hitler. I get it. I wish I didn't, but I do. But in this conspiracy, I allege they're giving people the fatigue. Why? Because they just be playing with everybody, just out of boredom. No real reason. The reptilian overlords be doing what they want to do, bro. They're from a different dimension. Let's keep going on.
Is anyone else slightly concerned on what college professors can now see when you grade your paper? Because I'm grading a student's paper, I'm a TA, and I have to expose this just a little bit. Because what we can see, there's one thing we can see now when you're typing out your paper that I don't think any college students ever seen before. And so I'm going to put this on here with a real student's paper that I pulled up to show you not only what we can see, but how you can grade your paper before you turn it in using what I'm about to show you. Okay, so I have a student's paper here pulled up. All right, this is a real student's essay. And when I come over here to this black dot and I click on it, what it does is it pulls up this AI scanner from GPT-0 that says if the text is human or not. Okay, so we can tell from the right off the bat the student didn't use ChatGPT to write this paper, but now we can actually see how he wrote the paper by going over here to this button called the Play Writing Report. And what this does is it pulls up a video in real time showing exactly how the student typed out the essay. So it shows all the front spaces the student made, all of the back spaces the student made, and all of the keystrokes the student made when typing out the paper. Then it shows all the pastes and all the edits the student made. Come over here, it shows how long it took the student to write the paper, how many words are in the paper, the edits and pastes again, and the timestamp when the student uploaded the paper into Google Docs. Then it shows the editors of the paper, so the student and the professor both made edits to this paper, and then it shows a typing analysis that says if it's natural or unnatural sounding. This is a 100% natural sounding paper because of the pauses, errors, and changes in speed and rhythm.
I don't know if I'm concerned because I dropped out of school in the 8th grade. And my 20-year-old, he graduated. I'm not sure if the teachers could see that when he was in school. My 14-year-old is homeschooled because I'm raising a wife in her. She needs to know how to take care of her house. I don't need her husband saying, I'm tired of this bitch. Go back to your parents. No, when he take her, she's staying over there. She gonna bring the grandkids over here so they can have their adult time. They might want to go to the Bahamas or wherever they gonna go. But as far as him sending her and the kid, no, none of that. So I don't know if I'm concerned for humans. You dudes who are still in school, I'm concerned for you, maybe, but you know, what are you gonna do? This one, it's just advanced spy metrics. That's how long they've been spying on us that I say it's just as in, oh, they're only spying on this to make sure. But they have been wanting to spy on us. Why? Because they insecure, and how dare you not believe in us, your reptilian overlords? And now we know you don't believe in us. Now I gotta eat your children. Bring them to the altar so we can devour them. This one was a Deuce Bigalow European Gigolo conspiracy theory that YouTube X'd out because all of these conspiracies cannot be showed to you. But you can see it on my Patreon, didn't get X'd out over there, and we could talk about it over there. The address is on your screen. We'll see you there. Let's go to the next one.
A nigga was fucking with my girl and shit, and she kept telling me about it. You know what I'm saying? And like a man, I approached the nigga and shit. I bat the fuck out of him. We go to fighting and all this shit, and somehow we end up in some gunplay.
What do you mean somehow? It's not somehow. There's a way how. Somehow we started shooting at each other. Bro, what the... Okay, I'm a finish. All right, okay.
Nigga and shit, boom. The nigga take off, boom. But this bitch ass nigga went call the police on me. Police came, took me to fucking jail. I'm bragging. We in the day room, nigga. I'm bragging about what I did to this nigga. Cause I'm protecting my household, my girl and shit. Muslim niggas was listening and shit. He pulled me to the side. He said, man, youngster, come on, let me holler at you. I said, what's up? He said, so you that nigga, huh? I said, yeah, I'm that nigga. He said, yeah, I heard about you and shit. You went and put them hands on that nigga and shit, shot at the nigga and shit for fucking with your girl. He said, but I just got one question for you. I said, what's that, old school? Who protecting her now? It hit me so hard, I damn near ran to the phone, nigga.
Oh, man.
You did all that, but who protecting her now?
Perspective. That's real. Damn.
So you gotta think, homie. You gotta think, man. Is it worth it?
That's great advice for us in hindsight. I want to hear the rest of the story. Who was protecting your girl? Because it sounded like telling on you was the plan all the time. Plot twist, your girl was messing with him on the low, and they conspired to get you out of there. That would be a great movie for Tubi. Ignorant, yet entertaining. Yes, savvy viewer, this is the Tubi conspiracy. Tubi is where all of the dumb people go. And I'm not dissing you if you go to Tubi. You're intelligent. Your kids are intelligent. But they didn't make Tubi for you. You just also go there. Please don't get it twisted. Get it fixed. It's a lot like the malt liquor conspiracy in the 90s. A lot of people thought Crazy Horse, Alizé, which is not a malt liquor, but Alizé was, we're going to talk about that on Patreon, but those of my Gen Xers, we know that, and I think studies have come out to say, yes, Crazy Horse, we did make it to drive you insane. That's why we called it Crazy Horse, a lot like Liquid Death. But hey, that's neither here nor there. It's an internet conspiracy. I'm not saying it's true, YouTube, so get out of my face with that BS.
Chris Paul, from everything that I've heard from every other player who's played with him, Chris Paul needs to be the smartest guy in the room. And if he's not, he's going to argue you down.
CP was a coach on the floor. He was so good and one of the smartest players on the floor, but he was like so smart that you kind of don't like him. He was so smart that like if you wasn't on his level thinking basketball, you'll feel like stupid. Yeah. Like, he'll make you feel stupid.
And he does, Chris, he does slick shit. Like, people don't know that's a little dirty motherfucker, man. Chris know that too, man. I know you didn't want to say it, but I say it for you.
He said something, Paul said something to him, and he reacted inappropriately.
You've been chirping all series long.
Me and him, when we on the same court, not the biggest fan at all. So,
but I'm not the fondest of CP these days. I think it was a playoff matchup against Phoenix, and words was a little, words was thrown out there that shouldn't be thrown out there between, two men, and so that kind of just drew the line for me. I don't know if it's that little man syndrome, but he definitely got that competitive nature.
It's just something about this guy and his short man syndrome, and he's an egomaniac. And it's complete BS. And it is what it is. I'm not on that side anymore, so I say what I want, I say how I feel.
Chris Paul's a guy I love. Yeah. He is not well liked by players. You played with him. Yeah. Of your 15 years you played with him, why don't guys like him?
People think he's a politician.
Okay.
People don't trust politicians.
Is that really it?
Yeah, he does things within the locker room that some teammates question. Dealing with management and coaches, people deem it as sneaky. They think he has an agenda. like a hidden agenda that doesn't include the rest of the 14 guys.
And also one thing, it's kind of crazy how many people hate Chris Paul. How many people are like, yo, I hate his guts, but he's a good player. Like, so many ex-players who have played against him are like, man, fuck that dude, but he's a good player, but he shouldn't have been treated like that.
He's not going to tell you what you want to hear. He's going to tell you what you need to hear. And I think sometimes his delivery is off. Chris is a talker, you know what I mean? So he's always going to kind of tell you he's a quarterback.
Translation, you can't keep it too real. Like in my creepy talks, I can't not keep it real like that, bro. In fact, just too real right here. I gotta keep it more fluffy. Oh, Chris Paul, he's just one of these guys. You just gotta, you know. Did I say anything? No. But emotionally, do you feel better? Of course you do.
He's always going to kind of tell you what he wants, what he sees, what he needs, like all that shit.
Chris Paul was criticizing coaching staff, front office, and players. And this is something that they felt they've been hearing over the last couple of months. And there was a meeting about a month ago between Lawrence Frank and Chris Paul where Frank addressed this issue again. Chris Paul vehemently denied those accusations. And with that, he asked Lawrence Frank, I was told, to set up a meeting between him and Ty Lue. Those two haven't spoken in weeks. Lawrence Frank said he would get to that. It never happened, and sources said Lue refused to meet with Chris Paul.
CP ain't no name on it. Get the ball played and get the action.
Chris Paul could have said a lot of things that rub people the wrong way. He still should have been able to walk in that office and have an eye-to-eye communication, man-to-man conversation with Tulu. We all understand that Chris is an acquired taste and he's not for everybody, but neither was I. But I was given the respect and the relationship with my coaches.
CP3, we knew he was a little general, right? We knew he was a little general. They call him the floor general. Generals aren't typically the sweetest, most nicest guys, but they get results. So for us, like, we understand, we didn't know that it would go down like this and this dynamic, but, you know, Chris Paul's always been very vocal. Hence why his teams typically always got better. But you also have to understand the power of you being vocal, when to do it, who you're doing it with. Showing up to a young team that'll do everything you say in Phoenix, you're going to have tremendous results. Showing up to a veteran team, and we saw it with Rondo. That's how Rondo got sent home from the playoffs. He got sent home from the playoffs because Rick would call in one call, Rondo would be changing the call. They would be arguing about the defensive schemes because Rick had a defense, but Rondo was a part of great defenses in Boston. And he was like, this is what we did in Boston. It's like, bro, we're not in Boston.
But I think Rondo was like, listen, man, I think a lot of these dudes is like, if LeBron can call shots, I can too. Dude, I came in with that wave. I came in after that wave. That's the wave of the NBA. What you trying to say? Only this one dude could do it? How? I'm LeBron's friend. I'm a part of the Banana Boat crew. I could do it too. But I guess they were saying, no, you can't. Only he can do that because he already lost 6 times. But we letting him do it. Just go with the flow.
And in a timeout where Doc could drop a play and Rondo would be like, nah, let's run this. I mean, we respected that because we respected Rondo's knowledge. But when, I think Chris was kind of the same way. But it got put out a different kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like smarter than everybody in the room and he didn't think he know everything. But
not that he's smarter than everybody in the room. He's smarter than this coach. You never won nothing. Even Phil Jackson now getting called the great coach. Let me say this. Wemby, the talent. A lot of people want to coach Wemby, and that's what it was with Jordan. His 3rd year in the league, a lot of people wanted to coach him. But maybe a lot of people didn't want to coach him because back in the 80s, Black lives didn't matter. People didn't have to pretend because you're sensitive. They could just say, I don't like you. Whoever it was, I don't like women. They could just say that. What's the guy? Carl Thomas? That's not his name. That's the singer. The dude, Anita Hill, he sexually harassed her. He just did that. He wasn't getting fired. He got promoted. This guy's he's a federal judge or something like that. And so you got to but you know what? That's, again, getting too deep. Let's not be too deep in here. We got to be moist. Well, I won't be moist, but just can't get too deep.
I've seen Rondo do that all the time, and we was like, we rolling, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Chris Paul is so smart and so good of a player, but the knock on him was that he was uncoachable. He was a know-it-all. You know, he didn't mess with everybody else. I've never played with Chris Paul, been in a situation
I've been
with Chris
there.
Paul.
I saw it first.
You gotta know how to blend in. Yeah, I mean, everybody don't know how to do that. I think it's a talent to know how to, especially if the Almighty gives you this level of knowledge. Like, you know, you as a player, you're better than your coach was when he was a player. The game has evolved. Your coach is not, you know, he's not knowledgeable like that. He's knowledgeable on what he's knowledgeable on. This is a different game. The game has evolved. We gotta accommodate all these dudes who went to college for a week and then they went to the pros. These dudes, they skipped over from high school. You know, they already didn't have a dad in their life. They had an AAU coach, and this dude is not even really concerned about them. He just trying to get his money off the kids. So it's a lot of moving parts, and you gotta, or at least I think, but what do I know? I'm just an old dude. Like I said, I be having to take my stay alive pills. So don't listen to me. What do I know? Nothing.
Firsthand, like I just thought,
like them, P.
I mean, I just think sometimes he rubbed some of his teammates the wrong way.
You're saying that he had been warned multiple times about that type of stuff?
They have had meetings with CP3 multiple times. Multiple is twice, right?
Yeah,
Several
it's
times.
more than
Okay, several times.
Two is two, yeah,
this
several.
short season about certain things.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? They're trying to switch it. Here we go with the Matrix talk. Several has been, okay, you got one, two is several, multiple is more than two. LeBron and LeBron fans. Kobe doesn't have multiple rings without Shaq. He has multiple rings with Shaq. Kobe has several rings without Shaq. More than one. Y'all knew what that was. It's just like Bernstein and Bernstein. You know what I mean? Putting stuff down the memory hole. Whatever though. Whatever. You can't be too smart with these idiots.
And so, yeah, we could blame and say, yeah, he should, but just think about it. Like, I had to think about it. Like, damn, they sent a future Hall of Fame, like, kicked him off the team at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Explain the response I'm supposed to have when a 9th grade student asks me, what is the first month of the year? And I say, what do you mean the first month? Because you're not asking what I think you're asking. And they say, well, on this worksheet, it's...
He is asking you that, Shaquita. I'm saying your name probably is like Skylar, but you look like your name is Shaquita. Did you not hear what he said? What's the first month of the year? Tell him. God.
Says, what was the world's population at the beginning of the year? I don't remember what's the first month. How am I supposed to type that in? Because all I could do was turn my head and go back to my computer and keep typing. I literally just ignored it. Because I can't say what a ridiculous, probably the stupidest question I've ever had in my life. And I can't say, oh, that's okay. You remember January, February, because you are 15 years old. And that was not the only student that asked me that question. What do you mean the beginning of the year? And
so I said earlier, my 14-year-old is being homeschooled. This is they actually was teaching us stuff in school. Social studies, home economics. They don't even have these things. They're teaching these kids twerking. They're teaching these kids LGBTQ in school and why that's important. So I'm just teaching my daughter at home because I'm raising a wife. I need her husband to not want her to leave. He needs to feel for my daughter. I don't even know what I was doing in life before I even ran into you. He needs to feel like Cameron said, you the type of cat that a Mario lover. Go to the end of earth for her like Mario brother. He needs to feel like that over my daughter because I already feel like that over my daughter. You see what I'm saying? If Dracula kidnapped her and took her in a castle with a dragon, I'm like, damn, I gotta go and I gotta get her back. I gotta fight the dragon. I gotta whoop Dracula ass and I gotta get my daughter back. Yes. I feel like that. I love my daughter. That's my lineage, and she's going to bring me some robust, handsome, beautiful grandchildren. A lot of us have decided I got to homeschool my kids because school is stupid. These kids are dumb. They're teaching your kid to be dumb. That's ironic. How do you teach somebody to be dumb? I don't know. I think they started with Common Core. 1 + 1 + 1 = 1. Shout out to Christianity. That was the first iteration of Common Core math. Shout out to that. But you know what? Don't be mad at me, Christians, because I'm not the one who came up with that concept. 1 + 1 + 1 = 1.
Some of them were like, oh, you mean like January 1st? Why do I have to say January 1st? The beginning of the year. That is universally understood as January 1st. Another question on their assignment was, what was the world population the day you were born? And what was the world population on your first birthday? And then they had to find the difference. The fact that I'd probably say half of my classes were asking me, what do you mean by our first birthday? And I'm like, your first birthday. And I had a girl say,
Yeah, because your first birthday could have been the day you was born, but we don't have a birthday party when you're born. Who does that in America? What Americans do that? No, we have a birthday when you're actually 1 year old. So let me see if these kids who are being taught to be stupid figured that part out. When I was born, came out of my mom, is that my birthday? Because that's what it is, the day I was birthed, or the celebration of my birthday a year later. Which one is the question asking me?
I've never had a birthday. She's like, I never had a first birthday. And I'm like, yes, you have. You had a second birthday and a third birthday and a fourth birthday. You're 15. Even when I said, because it's not a confusion problem, because even when I said, okay, when you turned 1, I have students that were like, well, if I was born in 2010, when would that be? And it was almost like they were guessing with me. They'd be like 2011, 2012. Why are you unsure? I just think with the cognitive level that our students are at, I think the most bare minimum rule that you can have today is no phones in your classroom, because they are not prepared.
The phones are not doing it, Shaquanda. That might be a part of it, but that's not everything. That's not, their parents were stupid. Your 15-year-old students, their parents had them when they were 15. You see what I'm saying? And that's been happening for 40 years in the United States, at least, maybe longer. And there's no shame to having your kid when you're 15 or 16. Look at LeBron James' mom. She had him at 16. And there's no shame because that's the norm. When she had LeBron, that was the norm. Gloria James was probably one of 1,000 girls who had a kid at 16 in her area, not even outside of Cleveland or wherever LeBron is from. Just in that area, in that square block, everybody that went to that same high school.
To be able to multitask in that way. People fight with me on your tooth and nail. I mean, I understand people get so mad and they say, why don't you talk about anything more positive? Why are you trying to take their cell phones? Because there's nothing positive. That's why you just need to take your cute ass and get a husband while you're still young and cute. I know when you take them braids out, you bald-headed as a fuck, but at least your eyebrows are normal. You can always tell these crazy hoes when they got the Sesame Street eyebrows. You don't have that. You don't have no lashes. Okay. Take your cute ass while you're still young and vibrant and there's still some elasticity to your skin and get married. Because the job that you wanted to follow, be a teacher, just cooked. These kids are stupid. It's just, but their parents were stupid. That's what it is. Gen X, that was the last generation of adults. That's why they signified it with the X. Society's like, we're not making adults no more. That shit is over with, bro. This is the last time we making adults. And why? Because we, Generation X, we're the children and the grandchildren of the marchers. Yes, our moms, dads, grandfathers, they actually saw Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, JFK. They heard these guys speak. They actually went to the Vietnam War. Didn't want to go to war, had never touched a gun before. They survived, came back, shot at people, killed people, and came back. They actually did something. So Generation X, we actually had to do something. We didn't know what we were doing was historic at the time, but the people in control, the reptilians, they knew. Oh, no. No more goddamn adults. This is it right here. And this is why the kids are dumb now. Hey, a child has the audacity to ask me, what is the first month of the year? And then you're going to pull out a cell phone to try to text, to go on TikTok or anything. That's insane. That should be the last thing on their mind, is a cell phone. When they don't even know the year that they turned 1 year old, the last thing they should think about is a phone.
Thank you to my channel members. We said thank you. Ha! To my channel members. No diddy when I say member. Thank you to my channel members. Fuck you if you're not a member. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously, join. Thank you